your thought on it, that how easy or difficult it is, and also does it really matter that I am actually talking from the Chandigarh's perspective, and if you go to Delhi or the other place, the things are different. I mean, what's your thought on it?
So one, I have experienced same level of difficulty in every city in India, whether it's Bombay or it's Delhi or any city. Hiring talent is equally difficult in every city. The bigger city you go to, more competitive it becomes. You've got the biggest brand sitting, you've got career opportunities which a person can give up a job today and by evening you will have another job in hand. You know, that kind of opportunity. There are enormous number of consultants who are, helping people jump jobs easily. So its situation is equally, or more worse in other cities as well. So let's look at this brand thing and why people will work for somebody who they don't know, etc. The best people who have worked around this, right, and it's a little far example, so you need to build that connection, is look at how builders sell properties in far obscure places which you have never heard of. And they sell you those properties for a few crores, right? You never heard of that village name which a builder will write, right? I mean, even if you are living in the same city, you would have never visited that corner. So it's not a known brand. A lot of times you may not even know the builder. I mean, you know a couple of builders now, but still may not know. But they sell the property, not just in your city. They sell that property to somebody in Canada, right? They're able to sell it. And so what people are buying? What do people buy then? If they have not seen the place and they have no idea what's going to happen, what is it that they're buying? People are buying future. Right? People buy future. So builder helps them visualize how this whole place is going to look like 5 years down the line. Right? And he tells you that, so there's a new apartment in Mumbai which is coming up, which says your escalators will open in your living room, right? And then you can carry your car also along with you up. And then there's a swimming pool which is just for you. You can have a sky garden, etc. Whatever. There's some tennis court on some floor. There's a jogging track somewhere, etc. etc. And nothing is on the ground. Everything is up. We can't imagine that, right? But he paints a picture and there's a line which says the prices start from 7 crores onwards. So basically he's saying that if you don't have 7 crores to invest, don't bother to even call. Right? And then it says by appointment, etc. Whatever. So what he's trying to do, unknown place, unknown structure, complete uncertainty, recessionary market, right? He's selling something. Even an attempt to do that, right, is such a bold attempt. And he takes, full pages of national dailies for at least 7 days. So he has invested serious money. So he's for sure confident about that he's going to get people to buy. Hiring is very similar. Hiring for startups is very similar. If you think that in a startup somebody has joined you because, what can be a reason why somebody is joining a startup if it's not future? Because present you don't have anything anyway.
But again, this is one of the stages when you have to really decide upon that either you want to actually kind of like, okay, one picturing is one thing, okay, that you are actually painting your own stuff and you're telling them, okay, that this is one of the nicest things in the world. I really don't think people who are actually sitting out there, who's actually CEOs of the company, I really don't think anyone's going to say that their company is not going to grow with time. They're not going to earn literally millions with time. So obviously everyone's picturing the same thing. What I'm really actually getting into is I myself am actually running the company. It's been almost 3 years. We've actually hired more than 50 people who are great assets for the company. Perfect. But again, what I'm really trying to understand for my own company out there, I don't know if it's really going to help anyone else. But the main thing is yes, a lot of great resources actually joined us. A lot of those kind of resources joined us who were not even from this particular industry, but we knew that with time these people are actually going to grow. Like for example, you said you were originally from physics, but if you actually ask me and I say I'm an IT company guy, and you come to me and I say, hey, you from physics? I really don't think I really knew. But again, we saw that potential fine. But also in some of the cases we saw that there were pretty good resources from other places and stuff. When they really actually came in, they saw the place, they were fine with the place, the money and everything. On the very last moment, it's basically something in their mind that they not because of the kind of clientele we handle, not because of the environment, not because of those things. City-wise, Chandigarh is one of the best cities, so why wouldn't the person would want to actually be there? But again, in the end, I mean, this is one of the points that's been raised by a lot of points that they're actually looking for the brand. Probably, I was good enough, or maybe my team was good enough to convince that person. But at the very last moment, they still had this thing in their mind that, hey, Microsoft's calling, let's go. Again, if you see my point, I'm not just talking about my employees taken buying Microsoft, but I'm just thinking an example. I understand picturing is a good thing, but again, still practically how much is it possible to actually, out of 10 people, how many do you really think will actually fall into this kind of situation?
Yeah, so let's understand that it is difficult, right?
Yeah.
It's like, it is difficult, of course, right? So starting up was difficult anyway. This is one of the difficult parts. Also is because the natural selection is towards the strongest. Let me ask you that if you are given a chance to join any cricket team in the world, how many of us will say we will join a Bangladesh team or a Canada team or something else now? We will want to join the last World Cup winner or something else. We want to be part of Tendulkar's team, etc. It's a natural selection that you want to be with the proven winning team, right? That eliminates your risk to zero. But this is not the way everyone thinks, right? And others have chances. Now, why others have chances is because by whatever they have and putting all that together, they allow the person to take the risk. See, one thing is for sure that if a person joins you, giving up a Microsoft offer, he is taking risk, right? Will he take a risk or not depends on how effective you have been in de-risking this call, or eliminating his perceived risk, or rewarding him for that risk that he is taking. Right? So, I have seen a lot of time we have the first gut reaction of when somebody joins a big brand, they'll say that, hey, he chose big brand over my startup, right? But it does not mean that you couldn't have won that guy. You could have won that guy. Maybe effort required was more. Maybe there was something else which was in his mind, which during discussions, etc., you could not comprehend, figure out, and that particular thing, went off. It happens in the same way in sales environment. You thought the sale is done, the guy goes home, he calls you next day saying, listen, I'll postpone the decision. Right? So there's something there. And it may not be always brand. Brand will always have a preference for sure because that reduces the risk and uncertainty. So it's a natural choice. It's just like like you say your current follows path of least resistance. It's a natural truth.
It is almost like when you say that doctors going to the US, why they're not staying in India? Everyone knows they are being paid less. But question, even if you pay them high salaries, are they going to stay here? Again, there's a lot more to it. Okay, again, I totally understand this point that you said. But the only thing is that I'm just basically kind of trying to see if I may get something better.
Sure. So we will, in coming slide, we will touch upon as a combination a lot of these. So I have actually put together some typical scenarios which I see companies. Say imagine one of your guys who are familiar with Mumbai. I just had this. I was more familiar with Mumbai, so I took Mumbai example. Right? So it's a logistics company, right? It runs in Chakala somewhere. It's a suburb of Mumbai, quite a congested place. The road is dug there half the time. Right? And the person said, sitting there in front of a half-dug road, he thinks he's sitting in Manhattan. So he complains that people don't join me, and MBAs are useless, they come and go, etc., etc. The typical scenario of a small size company in Mumbai. Right? The truth is, if he doesn't get right people, saying and repeating that is not going to help. He's going to shrink if he doesn't grow. Right? So something has to be done about this person. And so this workshop idea is that this person, if he's sitting in this workshop, will get some thoughts from all these discussions. Then in Bombay you find a lot of people doing this. This is a 25 people computer company. They attend all the events. There's a lot of knowledge they gather from there. And then they go back to find that all that knowledge that they have, there is actually nobody in their company who can even make sense out of what they are saying. Right? So 2-3 days that hangover remains of all the new thoughts and discussions, and then it's back to the normal business. It is back to same complaints. Right? And they keep years on years go without company really growing. Because it's not the top man who can grow the company. Right? It's the next layer and they're not interested. And this is the engineering company. He's got a dynamic MD. He takes tough decisions. Every time he takes a tough decision, he loses people.